We've got issues. According to Dr. Phil, we've got a number of them, and he has some advice on how we can get back on track. That's the topic of Coffee with Alain today. And I'm drinking out of mug Hard Work Pays Off today, because that's one of the themes in Dr. Phil's book, that hard work counts and we should reward hard work. We shouldn't just give trophies for nothing. We give trophies for working hard and achieving them, right? So that's a theme in the book, along with others. I appreciate everybody that joins. We're just going to do the one book today. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I want to remind you, you should be reading. Read for education. Read for enjoyment. Read the Enjoy Life Safely newsletter at enjoylifesafely.com. You get a couple free ebooks. You actually get some videos with the one. You get the newsletter, information on staying safe, enjoying life, being exceptional. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, all to help make your life better. Looking at We've Got Issues. I've liked Dr. Phil for a long time. I'm not a regular viewer of his show, but I've always liked him on interviews and other things. Just seems like a no-nonsense, common sense kind of guy. Some straight talk about some difficult things. So I've always sort of liked him. And I like this book. He was talking about different things going on in our country. And I did get a signed copy of the book for my signed collection. But, he's talking about how you can stand strong for America's soul and sanity. He starts out saying he loves this country and he sees some things going on that are problems and that we need to get back on track. So he talks about things about thinking freely, speaking freely, but he also acknowledges that free speech does not come without consequences. Talks about inclusive language. He talks about the dangers of rewriting history and so forth. Has a chapter on deprogram yourself, because the truth is out there. And especially with young kids on phones and the addiction and the things that are going on. Interesting. So just a lot of good stuff. And then the second part of the book, he gets into the 10 working principles for a healthy society. Be who you are on purpose. Focus on solving problems rather than winning arguments. And I liked when he talked about politicians. Are they really solving problems, or are they campaigning against problems continuously? Because if the problems were solved, they wouldn't have a job to do. And we see that, and I've talked about that before, and many of us recognize that our politicians, many of them are out there campaigning year-round about all these problems and how it's the other person's fault, and none of them are solving problems, because if the problems were solved, they wouldn't have these good sound bites and things to blame on the other person. And so many of them rather campaign, blame, than actually work toward solving things. And we see that time and again on both parties. It doesn't matter which side. They're all doing it because politics have become a career rather than a service to society. And he talks some about that and things to look for and recognize. Don't reward bad behavior or support conduct you don't value. Measure action based on results. That's a good one. Choose which voices in your life deserve the most attention. Do not stay silent just so others can remain comfortable. Actively live and support a meritocracy. That's why I got my hard work cup. Identify and build your consequential knowledge. Work hard to understand the way others see things. That's some of the stuff right out of my communication classes. Understanding both sides, because that's how we can work together to fix things and live in a society. Treat yourself and others with dignity and respect. There's a big one too that we have seemed to have lost. We need to respect others and treat others with dignity, regardless if we agree with them or not. So, I mean, there's just a lot of good stuff in this book that I agreed with. Not 100%, but a lot of good stuff that I agreed with that I think we could do better. And a lot of it is basic common sense. Although, like I've said many times when it comes to safety, which is common sense is not commonly practiced. So I enjoyed this. We've got issues. How You Can Stand Strong for America's Soul and Sanity by Dr. Phil. Even if you didn't agree with everything Dr. Phil wrote in his book, he is a little bit more on the conservative side. There's no question about that. And so am I. And so maybe one of the reasons we agree so much, it would definitely open your eyes on some of the things that are going on. And maybe even if you were on the extreme liberal side, it would give you a better understanding of some things so we can all work together for the best of the country. That's his wish, and that's my wish for the country as well. Maybe, again, why I liked the book, because I do think we have problems in this country, and I do think we could do better to make this country the best country in the world. So that's my little take on his book. I think that's what he wants. I think that's what I want. And I agreed with a lot of the things that he wrote in it. Check it out. You know, it's a newer book, just came out recently. He also, I never knew this about Dr. Phil. His dog was a Korean Jindo, which I really like the Korean Jindos. If we wouldn't have got Rocky, our mini Aussie, Jindo was on the list of a possible dog to get. So I thought that was cool too. Just another little interesting fact about Dr. Phil, that he had a Korean Jindo dog that was a super loyal companion with him. And the Korean Jindos are a super loyal breed, so a good dog. So I thought that was cool. That was something new I learned. Anyway, I hope you go out and make it a spectacular Super Saturday, and I will see you tomorrow.